the cleanest of clean finishers from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
All right, good evening, Zimbabwe. And as we promised on yesterday's show, we will pick apart that bombshell that was dropped by ZIFA. And indeed, after communication from a CAF about the fact that our Warriors won't be able to play at home. They'll have to play at a home away from home. And the Warriors 2021 Africa Cup of Nations and 2022 World Cup bids have been dealt a huge blow after the Confederation of African Football, CAF, condemned all Zimbabwean stadia for failure to satisfy the minimum international standards. We'll want to hear the studio panel's thoughts on that breaking story that broke yesterday. We promised that we'll talk about it on today's show, and that panel consists of Mark Pozzo, Alois Bunjira, our producer Sean Tafirenyika, and me, Barry Managi.
In our international sport, we go stateside for the NBA, where the three-time champion LeBron James sees a long, prosperous future ahead of Zion Williamson and the up-tempo New Orleans Pelicans, who are gunning for the 8th spot in the playoff race. In Around the World in 60, we begin in the United States, where five-time Grand Slam winner Maria Sharapova has announced her retirement from tennis in a column she has written for Vogue and Vanity Fair. In Australia, Steve Smith is back on top of the list of batsmen in the ICC Test player rankings after Indian captain Virat Kohli could only manage 21 runs in his 2 innings in the first test against New Zealand. And in Japan, the government has said preparations for the up-and-coming Tokyo Olympics are progressing as scheduled despite concerns over the spread of the coronavirus.
End of the beautiful game, we camp out in the UEFA Champions League, where Kike Setien says he remains positive about Barcelona's hopes of progressing despite Sergio Busquets and Arturo Vidal's absences for the last 16 second leg against Napoli in 3 weeks' time. In England, Hansi Flick hailed Bayern Munich's performance in their 3-0 masterclass against Chelsea. In tonight's action, Real Madrid coach Zinedine Zidane Zizou has said he doesn't worry about or fear facing Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. And in France, Juventus face Lyon in the first leg of their last 16 tie, having regained their spot at the top of the Serie A standings. So a crackerjack show lined up for you. We wouldn't do anything less.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
All right, now the Warriors 2021 Africa Cup of Nations and 2022 World Cup bids have been dealt a huge blow after the Confederation of African Football, CAF, condemned all Zimbabwean stadia for failure to satisfy the minimum international standards. The ban is an indictment on Zimbabwean government and means that the Zimbabwe Football Association will be forced to look for venues beyond the borders for its national team assignments. The reigning Zimbabwe football champions FC Platinum, who are due to play in the next CAF African Champions League campaign, have also been affected by the ban. We caught up with some football fans who expressed their disappointment.
Even the people that built those stadiums in South Africa are Zimbabweans, not South Africa. Guys, why can't we do it in our home country? I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed in ourselves.
Mdara isusu hatinakiri nazvo chaivo. Mana super sport vari kutaura kuti havachakwanisi kubroadcasta bhora racho iroro chero magetsi chichi. Saka hey, isusu hatisi kufara nazvo. At least zvikaita locally tinenge tane home advantage yekuti tinenge tangotsvaga mari yekungoti tingopinde magames chete, unlike kuti titsvage mari yekuti tikuda kuenda mari yebhasi, tikuda mari yekuzonotya ikoko, maybe hauna pekurara kana relative iriko, saka haukwanisi kuwanawo pekuti uzonyatsowana mari consider nekuoma kwaita zvinhu munyika ati mari yacho pane pasina.
Pano nemari dzatinowana panyaya yekuti vanhu vanopinda mastadium chichiwiziva, but zviye zvatokatwa zvezvo, saka zviri wrong, hatombozvikurudzira. Vanhu vanozara mahotels aizvo vatotikanganisa zvakawanda, saka zviye zvatobatsira foreign currency akuchina, saka zvatodhakisa.
Kana ma-outsiders akauya towana foreign currency, we are able to renovate ma-stadiums edu.
Z.
All right, now I'm sure you know the story after it dropped yesterday. The fact that Barberfield Stadium in Bulawayo was the only stadium which had provisionally been certified on condition that issues that had been raised in the inspection report would be addressed. And it has been banned now after the stadium authorities failed to make the necessary improvements as directed. To be specific, Alois, CAF said that because we haven't been called back for a new inspection, we're going to assume that you haven't addressed the issues that we said you should address, and therefore you stand banned. That is a shocking indictment on the football fraternity, on our ability to administrate. It has shocking implications on all of us as Zimbabweans.
Yeah, Barry, it's actually quite sad. You know, obviously, like you said, you clearly said that the CAF inspectors, they had set aside 1 March to come and inspect the Barberfield Stadium, but only on invitation.
Yes.
If they are invited to come and inspect, they can come and inspect nothing, you know, because nothing has been done. It says it was when they left, so they were waiting for the Zimbabwe Football Association to let them know that it's all in place for the match one.
The authorities were on off season.
Yeah, you see. So we are banned. We don't have a stadium that is homologated by CAF and by FIFA. So that's what it is. We have to now play in another country. You know, it's shocking. You know, it's really bad.
Okay, so we got to go and play in another country because we all know why. But that's going to come at a cost, is that not right?
It's going to come at a cost, and my hope is that the arrangements are being made for us to play outside of Zimbabwe, because you got to think to yourself that ZiFM has been talking about the fact that they want to appeal the decision. Now, chances are a lot of energies are going to be applied to trying to reverse the decision. For me, I think there's too little time. We are supposed to play Algeria
in about 3 weeks.
In about 3 weeks' time. I don't think there's enough time for CAF to consider and then overturn the decision, whether temporarily or permanently, and for us to play our home games. I think we need to just draw a line underneath the sand and say, this is the decision that's been made. Let's find an alternative venue.
But where are we going to go and play? I mean, where's the alternative venue going to be?
Yeah, when you look at it, Mark, I agree with Barry 100%. Now, there's no time for us to actually still look for an appeal. Then if we appeal, we have to call the inspectors to still come. Algeria need to know also where we are playing. You know, so for me, I was talking about it. South Africa is the only venue that I think that is worth us going to when it comes to money. You know, it comes at a cost for the preparations, yes, but we can actually make money out of going to play in South Africa.
In South Africa?
Yes, we can actually make money.
Why?
Why? Because number one, it's gonna be pay. We're gonna be selling our tickets in rands. Yes. And number two, the biggest point that I know that is gonna happen, they can make money, although it's not good for other people inside. You know, the ticketing system at FNB Stadium or any
Orlando Stadium,
the ticketing system is electronic and it's a barcoded, so that the tickets are sold at CompuTicket. Pre-match tickets, so there is no way that the stadium is going to be holding 60,000. We hear that only 25,000 paid, because everybody is going to be accounted for. Even the turnstiles for the VVIP, it doesn't open for someone who doesn't have a ticket.
So
even the VVIP ticket is also going to be to be counted. They will be accounted for, so it can actually be good.
Now you're
money making.
Now, Bunj, you're looking at the positive aspects. For me, there's a lot of negatives around us playing away from home. Number one is that a player, when you were called up for national duty, one of the things that drove you was the fact that you were going to be able to play in front of your people.
Yes.
In front of people who know you, who've seen you play, and playing in the giant national sports stadium is already motivation.
Like sacred, you know, the National Sports Stadium. It was an honor.
So we're undoing that, because our players are going to play in a venue yet to be advised. And right now, already, we need to decide where we want to play, because we can play.
We don't know right now.
Polokwane, Durban, Cape Town, whatever is available. Hopefully it'll be Johannesburg, because I think the logistics there are a lot easier.
And there's
but who's going to be
Zimbabwe-
putting up their hand to say,
contingent.
we'll host it, we'll host it?
No, it's not about someone putting a hand. It's about we're approaching them.
We're going to approach them, and we're going to pay. We're going to pay for us to play in whatever venue that we pick, provided that it's available. That's the issue. Because we said we've got 3 weeks left, and we need to look at availability.
The available venues.
And if you were the stadium, where would you be asking for your money? I would be saying, I want my money up front.
No, absolutely. A standard fare.
But once again, ZiFM, that will just fall away because they won't be able to do it.
That'll drag on.
Because they'll have to rob Peter to pay Paul.
I think we are being progressive and looking at what the next step is. But before we look at the next step, I really feel that we need to look at how we got here. Because for me, ZiFM is pointing at the stadium authorities, and their entire press statement that was released yesterday was talking about the fact that they put pressure on stadium authorities. They spoke to stadium authorities. For me, the custodian of football in this country is ZiFM, and they're the ones who stood to lose and still stand to lose. So if you stand to lose, you're going to do everything within your power and break a leg, pull a hamstring to get that thing done. I don't feel that our footballing authorities did enough for us to avoid this.
Yeah, I also don't think so. Probably they sent an email, and they said yeah, we sent an email to you guys. So do you remember? Check your email on the 13th. We sent you an email. Probably somebody at BCC
might have been a fax.
Didn't even read. Yeah, maybe a fax. Maybe they didn't even read it. So no, your jokes aside though. But look, I don't think they did put pressure on it. But this thing didn't start yesterday.
It didn't.
It was supposed to kick off when Rufaro Stadium was banned. That was an alarm bell. When Rufaro Stadium was banned, we were supposed to start talking. When they sent an email telling us that National Sports Stadium, you are playing there, but it's a dangerous stadium, we were supposed to wake up and start thinking about it. They gave us a warning a long time ago about National Sports Stadium as well. Sure. So now, when you look at it, ZiFM has been sitting on this. Yeah. They know that these are their international stadiums that they use, or the alternative international stadiums. They were supposed to keep putting pressure because they know they are the castle. They have the documents. They know what CAF needs. They know what CAF wants as far as requirements are concerned. So they were the ones that were supposed to make the authorities stay up to date with what is required by CAF. Yeah. But they didn't push for that, so they can't then come back and say authorities. Yes, the authorities are to blame, yes, because themselves as well, they also needed to have maintained their facilities and looking for modern ways. What are the other stadiums in other countries are doing? Upgrade them. We have known of bucket seats how many years ago? 30 years ago we have known of bucket seats. They should have been proactive as well.
If you're a landlord, let's be fair, if you're a landlord, you're unlikely to care as long as the rentals are coming in. And in truth, the landlords have been receiving their rentals. As soon as the PSL season kicks off, they receive their rentals.
And when you see your ceiling is falling down, it's your house. Come on and inspect your house. Is my house in order? Paint here, paint there. The ceiling is falling.
Let me tell you a harsh truth.
With the money that you are paying rent, I'm gonna use it to pay.
Let me tell you a harsh reality. I don't live there, so I don't care. So here's my... wait, I'm trying to get a point. The guys who live there should be able to engage their landlord and say, we're going to fix the ceiling because it's broken, but we're going to deduct it.
Rent.
Correct.
Thank you. Yeah,
simple and straightforward. Pierre in Warren Park says this on our WhatsApp platform. This is embarrassing that we are no longer able to watch international matches in Zimbabwe. Kamambo must resign with immediate effect. They have clearly failed. Why don't they privatize these stadiums so that they can be developed into world-class ones, or at least lease them to clubs? Our councils are very useless. I am embarrassed. So just like Pierre in Warren Park, you can get in touch with us on 0731 168 045. We'll be reading your messages on our WhatsApp platform, 0731 168 045, during the Fan Zone.
Hi, my name's Ryan Cairns, Sunshine Tour professional golfer, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Right, to our local sports news roundup, where newly accredited Asian Tour golfer Benjamin Follett-Smith will plunge into the New Zealand Open, which tees off tomorrow at the Millbrook Resort in Arrowtown. The 25-year-old was one of the 35 graduates who managed to get their tour cards at last week's qualifying school. He will join countryman Scott Vincent on the tour. To rugby, and Zimbabwe national sevens rugby coach Gilbert Nyamatsamba wants the Cheetahs to play lots of rugby after making it to the final Olympic qualifying tournament. Zimbabwe will convert converge for the Repage tournament to be held in Biarritz on the 20th and the 21st of June. The winner of the tournament will secure a ticket to the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Nyamatsamba, who watched his side finishing 8th at the World Challenger Series in Uruguay at the weekend, said they have to keep their players active to enhance their chances of qualifying for the Olympics. To triathlon, where Zimbabwe elite women triathlete Laurel Brown wants to improve on her swimming as she plots the remainder of her 2020 season. Brown had a fruitful debut in the elite category at the Bon Aqua Chartbeck ATU Triathlon Africa Cup in Nyanga at the weekend, where she won a silver medal. The 2012 African Junior Women Champions Achilles heel at the just ended meet was definitely her swimming, as she exited the water last behind most of the junior elite women who raced together with the elites. That is your local sports news roundup.
International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play. Whether it's the NBA or NFL, the best of America on ZiFM Sport.
To the NBA now, three-time NBA champion LeBron James sees a long, prosperous future ahead of Zion Williams and the up-tempo New Orleans Pelicans, who are gunning for the 8th spot in the playoff race. James had 40 points and 8 rebounds in his first career meeting with Williamson, while leading the LA Lakers to their 6th straight victory with a 118-109 win. Williamson had 29 points and 6 rebounds. LeBron James says Zion is a special player, as the young rookie is on the quest to lead his team to the playoffs.
The kid's special. I mean, we all know that. And every game is going to be another opportunity for him to get better, and a learning experience for him. But in today's game, where it's a track race, it's a fast pace, it's high tempo, it fits his game perfectly. And the way that they play, it fits his game perfectly, because they get the ball out. First 8 seconds, they're trying to score. So, but the kid is special, man, and they got a good one in him.
Kid is special. Now, Williamson himself was still injured for the Pelicans' first 2 meetings of the season with the Lakers, but his delayed debut in Hollywood was as entertaining as everyone hoped. Let's also hear from Zion Williams after his first career meeting with King James.
I mean, it was a great experience. He's an incredible player. His resume speaks for himself. I mean, he showed it tonight, so they got the win, and that's what we were trying to get, so we came out with L. I think each loss hurts. Like I said in the interview last game, every win matters, every loss matters. So we're going at every game trying to get the win. I'm just trying to get better at everything and just finding the flow with different rotations out on the court. Because, sometimes I'll go on a run with a certain group. Other times I'll get out there and we'll kind of struggle as a group. So I think it's just still adjusting to my teammates. Yeah, I do hold myself high. I hate when I make mistakes because, like I said, every win and every loss matters, and we need every win we can get.
Zion Williams there, the voice of the next big thing in the NBA, and certainly LeBron James believes that. New Orleans Pelicans themselves are looking good value for the money. They've kept every single game close. They've looked good value. They play an up-tempo game, which suits Zion Williamson. And as a rookie in the league, Paz, he's doing a fantastic job in showing what his abilities are. But more than that, for the New Orleans Pelicans, he's been a great find, because this team has a good chance of making it to the playoffs, especially given that this result was a loss to the best team in the league, which you don't have to sort of worry about.
Yeah, I think you got to look at this and say Williamson is a special talent.
Yeah.
And I think he is going to be, I would put that name in your memory bank right now, because this guy's going to be a huge star in the NBA.
And that name is Zion Williams, who plays for the New Orleans Pelicans, no doubt. He may be traded fairly soon to one of the big franchises. My producer here is mouthing something to me. Obviously wants me to say something or do something. What do you want, Sean?
Zion Williamson.
Did I say Williams?
You keep saying Williams.
I'm cutting
Williams
it short.
sounds better for an NBA player.
I've been saying Williamson and Williams. It's interchangeable. Zion Williamson.
Hi, my name is Luke Bahamute, Los Angeles Clippers small forward, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
Let's go around the world in 60, starting in the United States. Five-time Grand Slam winner Maria Sharapova has announced her retirement from tennis. In a column she has written for Vogue and Vanity Fair, the Russian retires at the age of 32, having last won a Grand Slam in 2014 when she clinched the French Open for the second time. Her last appearance came at the 2020 Australian Open, where she was knocked out in the first round by Donna Vekic. In her article, Sharapova said she was saying goodbye to tennis, and we say goodbye to one of the great ones, Maria Sharapova. Let's leave drug cheating aside. All right, we go to Australia now. Australia's Steve Smith is back on top of the list of batsmen in the ICC Test player rankings after India captain Virat Kohli could manage only 21 runs in his 2 innings in the first Test against New Zealand in Wellington, which his side lost by 10 wickets to concede a 1-0 lead in the 2-match series. This is the 8th time that Smith is on top of the rankings after first occupying the top position in June 2015. The last batsman apart from Smith and Kohli to be number 1 is New Zealand's Kane Williamson. Sean, for an 8-day period in December 2015. Let's land it in Japan, where the spokesperson for the Japanese government has said preparations for the upcoming Tokyo Olympics are progressing as scheduled, despite concerns over the spread of the coronavirus. A former International Olympic Committee IOC Vice President Dick Pound said earlier this week that the rate at which the virus known as COVID-19 is spreading could force the cancellation of the 2020 Olympics. However, Japanese government spokesman Yoshihide Suga has stressed that Mr. Pound does not speak for the IOC, and there are currently no plans to cancel or postpone the games.
Fan Zone. Get in touch with the team and have your say your way.
Operator.
0731168045 0731168045. Because of the importance of the subject we are relating today, we are going to have a slightly extended fan zone just to get all your thoughts on the matter that broke yesterday about our facilities and our Warriors playing home games away from home. This one is from, you don't give us your name, but you say, guys, we are talking about a council that has abandoned all its beer halls and all recreational facilities. ZiFM must just have put all its efforts and on repairing the stadium. And for me, I blame Mr. Kamambo. He should just resign. So, Kamambo, how guilty is he in all this?
Like we said, ZiFM, they are guilty. You know, of course, they are not the only ones that are guilty in all this debacle, but they are guilty. They are the custodians. They are the custodians of the national team. They know the fixtures. They know what CAF wants. They are the ones that communicate with CAF. CAF doesn't communicate with Blawa Seed Council.
No,
they communicate with ZiFM. So they are the ones that received the correspondence first that your stadium is ABC. Go and fix it.
Yeah.
Fix this, fix that.
They should have fixed it.
But you know what?
Pushed for it.
You know, yes, Kamambo to blame, but you know, let's go back and blame the last 3 or 4 ZiFM presidents.
Agreed. But we are
because this is something that should have been done a long time ago. We said last night that the National Sports Stadium was built in 1986. Okay, surely that stadium should have been revamped or reconditioned in, say, 1995, or give it 10 years
at least.
Yes.
At least.
Yes, Mark. We do agree that even the previous ZiFM associations did not push, but remember they were not given the threat to ban. They were not given the threat to ban.
They shouldn't have even had that. Do you think South African stadiums even have ever had a letter to say that your stadiums are in poor condition?
Why I'm saying this? The previous ZiFM authorities, they were within the bracket of standards at that time.
At the time.
The standards keep on moving. They keep on shifting. At that time, the bucket seats were not a requirement. The doping room was not a requirement. So these standards keep on moving.
So?
We didn't move.
Yeah.
And
so
the previous ones,
exactly, they should have moved with the times.
Yes, but I'm saying
the current
administration, no, they are the ones that are in the current situation where these latest requirements are needed. And why they are so capable, Mark, is because the inspection happened. They were told,
and they were there.
They were there. They were told that you need to do A, B, C. and it was not done. After they were told that you have a game in 4 months' time, we want you to do this thing, fix it.
And they didn't.
Jerry
Marimo
That's
in
where the problem
says,
is.
"Hi guys, we just very much disappointed. I have always wondered why can't our clubs own stadiums? It could have been easier for ZiFM and other authorities to give instructions to the clubs. I know clubs can manage stadiums well. We all know our municipalities are not doing well."
Yeah, I just want to respond to him. I am disappointed with FC Platinum. Here, I'm sorry to say, they have been competing in the CAF Champions League for the past 3 years. Now they're going into the 4th, and they've been using Blawayo.
Yes.
But look, they started building that stadium. When they built that stadium, why didn't
they use
right from
the standards of CAF?
At that particular time, if they had ambitions to be champions and to dominate Zimbabwe and then conquer Africa, why didn't they do that? But okay, point taken, they didn't. But then they competed year 1. They competed at Baba Fields. Year 2, they went to Baba Fields. Year 3, they went to Baba Fields. Year 4, they were planning to go to Baba Fields again. But aren't they selling platinum? Isn't platinum? Where is the word?
It's a good question, Bunj. Here's one for you guys. This one says, "I would opt for Zambia. SA, we are in the same World Cup group, so it is not a wise move." So,
oh man, he didn't do his calculations well.
Yeah.
Because the game, we are not saying we are going to South Africa permanently.
No.
Or we are going anywhere permanently.
This is for the Algeria game.
For the Algeria game, that one game.
Yeah.
What is this game? This is an AFCON game.
Yes.
Now in AFCON, we are playing, Zambia is actually in our group for AFCON.
Yeah.
So he is actually taking it the other way around. Zambia, it can't, because actually Zambia is the one that is in our group for this AFCON. We can't go and play in Zambia for the AFCON game when we have Zambia in our very same AFCON group. So he has mixed things a little bit.
Yeah, Hillary and Marlborough has also weighed in. He says, "The stadium crisis is a shame to our nation. Our stadiums do not meet the minimum CAF requirements." Thanks for getting in touch, Hillary. This one says, "Anna, my name is Anna Manzonza from Cheetown. I agree with Barry. Hakuna landlord anofunga kugadzirisa door or leaking roof as long as rent yake achiwana. The best is for to tell the landlord that I am moving out if you fail to do ABCs. You know what? As Zimbos, let's stop pointing fingers at councils. Ko iyo ZiFM irumboite chinemsoro as the mother body." And again, I go back to the fact that ZiFM was the biggest beneficiary, biggest custodian of this matter. They should have fixed this issue.
Yes, no, I do agree 100%. It's on their doorstep.
Yeah.
But then we also have to go back, guys. We have to go back and look at the situation. Okay, besides the Baba Fields debacle, we have got Rufaro Stadium that is closed for international games. Is closed. What are the owners of the stadiums doing about it? That since it was closed? Zilch. Okay, we have got the National Sports Stadium. Who owns the National Sports Stadium? It's the local Ministry of Local Government. What are they doing? Because they were told also, they know that the stadium was not also homologated by CAF. What have they been doing? They've been doing nothing. Baba Field Stadium, right? They knew about this issue, about the upgrade, the renovation, and they were actually lucky because of the Zone 6 games.
Right.
Remember, because this stadium was actually upgraded during the Zone 6 games. That's why there were a lot of things that were upgraded, so they needed a little bit more to comply with CAF. So it wasn't the council that renovated those stadiums. It was because the Zone 6
games were coming, and then government did what they needed to do. This one's to you, Bunj, because it says, "I think our former players have let us down. They have occupied the back seat when it comes to the games administration. Look at King Kalu, that's Kalusha Walia in Zambia. When he was president of the Zambian Federation of Football, the football was being football is being run by politicians. No wonder we are in this mess." Former player Alois Bunjira, why haven't you put your hand up?
We have heard about this a long time ago, but to be honest, Barry, it's not easy. This is a constitutional issue. People don't really understand. It's not like you're just going to be voted maybe for a classmate or a group leader or at work, your workers committee. It's different. There is a constitution, and it has got requirements, and the people that vote, the governance? Do they make way for these former players? Right. There is actually a cold war that is happening in Zimbabwean football between former players and the people that are in charge of football at the moment. They don't want to see former players anywhere close. Guys, and they're the ones that vote. They're not going to vote for a former player.
One last point for
difficult.
you. I want your thoughts on this, and thanks for that point on former footballers, and it's one that we can pursue in greater detail at a time to come. But aren't we looking a bit too high on the food chain here? Because the board at ZiFM is responsible for policy. There is an executive that runs the day-to-day affairs of ZiFM. Has the executive, now the board gets elected, and
Yes.
we have to wait for the assembly for the board to be elected. The executive is appointed,
Yes.
led by Joseph Mamute, the CEO. Should we not be pointing fingers at the executive, because those are the guys who are employed by the board, and saying to ourselves, do we have the right people in those positions?
Yeah, Barry, you're very right. But when you look deep, when you go to ZiFM and start looking at them, that's when you actually see that there is a very, very big structural problem at that place, because there are no structures there. Mamuse, and who else? In the executive, Gwesela, who else? Keep counting. Who else? Keep counting. There's nobody. There's no Muse Gwesela, and there's supposed to be a whole lot of a team, maybe of 20 people that are in the executive. Go to SAFA, go to SAFA and see. We start from the reception and go to all the offices. You see people working. There's supposed to be someone who is in charge for competition.
Yes.
At ZiFM. Who is in charge for competitions at ZiFM?
Well, it was the board member in charge of competitions, who's Chamuchu was.
Board member.
Yes.
He is a board member. Board member doesn't do the running.
He's not supposed to
so
do the
who
running.
is under? What is the structure of the board under the board member competition? Who is there?
That's where I'm also having a problem, that the executive, perhaps it's a structural issue, but perhaps it's also the personnel. That is the question that we need to ask. Friday's show, everybody, not to be missed. Remember, every single last Friday of the month, we have a celebrity guest in the studio, and this Friday, it's going to be a big one. We've got My Titi. She'll be in the studio with us for the entire duration of the show. Don't miss that one. It's going to be a great one, and I'm sure there'll be lots of laughs to be included as well. So join us on ZiFM Stereo or catch us online.
Hello everybody, this is My Titi. Catch me on ZiFM Sport this Friday from 5 minutes past 6 to 7 p.m. to talk all things sport. Don't miss it for anything. Love it.
Sports with a difference. Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport.
Champions League special. Now, head coach Kike Setien says he remains positive about Barcelona's hopes of progressing in the Champions League despite Sergio Busquets and Arturo Vidal's absences for the last 16 second leg against Napoli in 3 weeks' time. Barca laboured to a 1-1 draw against the Serie A side at the Stadio San Paolo last night, scoring through Antoine Griezmann. The France international strike cancelled out a superb first-half goal from Dries Mertens, who limped off early in the second half after a heavy challenge from Busquets. Setien is not despondent, though, and is confident his side, who also lost Gerard Piqué to injury late in stoppage time, will have enough firepower to overcome Gennaro Gattuso's men.
Necesitamos un poco más de claridad arriba ante equipos.
Today was a difficult match against a team who defended very well on their home turf. I give them a lot of credit for that. It's true we have to be a bit sharper up front when we face teams who defend so much. It happened to us in La Liga as well. Sometimes it is just a matter of patience. You have to consider that we controlled their counter-attacks, and I think that's a job we did very well. I think that at home we will have more options for sure, and furthermore, it's unlikely for a team to keep defending for such a long time like Napoli did today, especially when you play at the Camp Nou.
Sobre todo cuando hay que jugar allí en el Nou Camp, ¿no?
Z.
The voice of Kike Setien, he's not despondent. He reckons they can still do the business even though they're missing various individuals. It ended 1-1. You called it Bunch last night.
Yeah, you did.
predicted correctly.
Thank you. I did.
Well done, Prophet Bunch.
As a 1-1 draw. But you got to say to yourself that the 1-1 draw was probably what Gennaro Gattuso would have wanted. He parked the bus big time last night.
Yeah, he did. You can actually hear the Barcelona coach also. He's not complaining, but you can actually see it's a complaint.
Yeah.
He's crying about the defense, the way they defended. And they're going to do the same, unfortunately.
They are.
They will go. He said that you can't do that at the Nou Camp, yes. But if you are playing against professionals, they will put wood before brain, like my coach Grabowski used to say, that if you get into an intimidating stadium, you put wood before brain so that your senses are closed out.
Yes.
You just focus on what you are doing. So even if you see the crowd, your brain is not going to transmit the message that this is a Barcelona crowd. You just play football. You focus.
But Napoli can ill afford to do that now, especially the fact that Barcelona got the away goal.
Yeah, so, just going to say that was the winner for Barcelona, basically.
Right. Essentially, now that gives Barcelona a bit of wiggle room, as it were. So Napoli has got to look for something at the Camp Nou, whether they get it early or they get it late. They've got to look for something.
But if you ask me, if I am the Napoli coach,
Gattuso,
if I'm Gattuso, I'll still park the bus and drag that match for as long as he can, because I still know that only one goal will give me the result. Yeah. So I'll drag it. Because they are the underdogs here. Let's be honest, they are the underdogs.
They're still in it. They're still in this tie.
They are the underdogs, and the coach said they are going to struggle with the Barcelona thing and all that. I'll go there, because if they try to attack it in Barcelona, they'll get hammered for 4. So park the bus again. Drag the game for as long as it can. Imagine getting to the 80th minute. It's still 0-0.
0-0, yeah.
It's advantage
Napoli
psychologically.
Yeah.
Because now Barcelona panicking that if they sneak in one.
But doesn't that also play into Barcelona's hands? Because at that point, 80th minute, Barcelona also will decide, let's just keep the football and we settle for the 0-0 draw we go through. And
so a sucker punch. It's a sucker punch. Remember we were talking about Wilder.
Yeah.
That as much as he was wobbling, what did we say that
Fury
shouldn't do?
Yeah.
Don't just get excited and because it is one sucker punch and you're out.
Well, Napoli coach Gennaro Gattuso believes it's all to play for. He says that it is all to play for. He set up his team to defend in a compact shape before counter-attacking at pace.
You say it's over? We don't even give up in a card game. Do you think that we could feel like it's over when a Champions League round of 16 is at stake? It's not over at all. We know it will be tough, so we'll buy helmets, we'll buy armor, we'll buy anything we need to buy in order to go there and play to try and win. It's not over at all.
So is that a sign of what they're going to do? If they buy helmets, they buy shields, those are all defensive instruments.
I know.
I
told you.
Anything offensive?
Yeah, they didn't. I told you, park the bus.
So clearly,
go there.
Also park the bus again.
Right, one side that might have to park a few buses is Chelsea, because Hansi Flick hailed Bayern Munich's performance in their 3-0 masterclass against Chelsea in their Champions League tie last night. Sergio Gnabry's brace and Robert Lewandowski's goal led Bayern to a rout of Chelsea in the opening leg of their last 16 tie. In a rematch of the 2012 Champions League final that Chelsea won, Bayern were a class above at Stamford Bridge, and head coach Flick praised his team.
We thought that in the first half we played well, but we could improve a few things. We wanted to get our reward for the way we were playing, and we missed out a few chances. In the second half, we used our chances, and the whole team communicated very well with each other, and it worked out very well.
Well, that was the Bayern Munich head coach. A tough night for Chelsea guys, and they're all but done, I'm afraid. I think the return leg is going to be probably a similar scoreline.
Yeah, they will still get clobbered. I always say
a similar scoreline, another 3-0, 6-0 aggregate.
Yeah.
That's a clobbering, yes.
Because the way they have been playing in the last two matches in the EPL, I was not convinced. Now playing a mean machine like Bayern Munich. I know Bayern Munich, you give them the ball, they will punish you. And Chelsea, they give the ball a lot. So yeah, I was not surprised.
Well, Frank Lampard also knew his side were outplayed. Let's hear from the Chelsea manager, who said he wants Chelsea to take an understanding of the levels required to play in the Champions League knockout stages from their humbling defeat last night.
The levels of Bayern Munich were fantastic. They're a really strong team. I was aware of that. And unless we were to get everything right and bang on, it was going to be a tough night, potentially. And we didn't get everything bang on. We weren't confident on the ball. That was my biggest disappointment from mostly start to finish, to be fair. We want to play here. We've shown that all season. Today we went away from that. And that can happen sometimes in an intense atmosphere whenever all eyes are on. So it was a harsh lesson, a reality for the players of the levels we want to get to. This is Champions League football. We as a club, I suppose, haven't been fighting in the knockout stages, getting through to the back end of it for some years, and reality of what it takes.
Frank Lampard there talking about his experience last night. And for me, I think Frank Lampard is a little bit naive. He's got some street smartness that he needs to bring into his game, and also accept the level of his team. Bayern Munich is a far better, you called it a machine.
Yeah.
It's a far better team. You need to accept that first and foremost, and then create a game plan around that.
Yeah, he is as naive as his players in the Champions League, so they need to grow together.
Yep.
ZiFM Stereo is untouchable.
On to tonight's action. Our Real Madrid coach Zinedine Zidane has said he doesn't worry about or fear facing Manchester City and Pep Guardiola in the club's Champions League clash. Zidane and Guardiola will go head-to-head for the first time in a competitive match tonight in their Champions League round of 16 first leg match at the Bernabeu.
This is Real Madrid versus Manchester City, that's all. It's not Guardiola versus Zidane. Everyone can have an opinion, but in the end, this is just a football match. And that is what people want to see. A football match between Real Madrid and Manchester City. It's a beautiful game, and we're happy because we always want to play these kind of games. We are ready for a great game.
This gentleman is
the predictions are already coming out.
Bunch, this is the Classico of the round, isn't it? This is the one that we've been waiting for. They haven't faced each other, so we've got fresh eyes on this one. How does it play out?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. As soon as the draw was done, we all wanted this. We've been waiting for this one. For me, especially, it's going to be it's a tricky situation.
Right.
I'm a Real Madrid fan,
right?
But I'm a big Pep Guardiola fan at the same time.
So what's the approach on both sides?
I think the approach here is for City will just go for it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to park a bus. They know how to play with the ball. So I think they will just do the very same thing that they know how to play, and they will play it. They will do possession football, and they will try to get it. I hope that they do. For me, I'm behind City this time around.
This match being at the Bernabeu, of course, is an advantage to City in inverted commas. I mean, you'd be hard to say that, but let me explain. Because City getting anything from the Bernabeu, whether they lose, win or draw, if they get any sort of goal, it's worth double and gold in this time.
Yeah, I'm going against you guys.
Really?
Yep. I think they're not going to get anything out of the Bernabeu tonight.
Clean sheet from Madrid?
Yeah, I would say 1-0 Real Madrid.
1-0 Real Madrid. Oh, wow. Okay. The predictions already coming through. These are two managers who love to play with the ball. Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola says Raheem Sterling is ready to return to face Real Madrid after suffering a hamstring injury.
Raheem is fit. His natural physical condition, his regeneration is amazing, and he said to us, so I could play West Ham game, I could have played against the previous one we play in Leicester. The doctors say be careful because it's not in time. This muscular injury always 3 weeks, 1 month, and after 15 days he wants to play. That is a good signal, and he's fit. Yeah, he's ready.
Raheem Sterling, of course, going through a miracle recovery there. And his comments about Real Madrid, talking about the fact that, anybody would want to play for Real Madrid. It makes it extra tasty for him to play in this tie, doesn't it, Raheem Sterling?
Yeah, everybody, I think even Man City players, obviously when they are playing in the EPL, they know, they've heard about the derby, the El Clasico in Spain. I'm sure they've watched some of the games. They've watched the games at the Banabo, and they feel, it's like that. Like a Zimbabwean going to FNB Stadium.
Sure.
They will feel it. They know that it just is a nice situation to play at that stadium. So they're ready to go. This should be a classic.
Okay, give me your prediction now. We've got pauses 1-0.
Now, I want, I'm sympathizing with City. I want 2-1 for Man City.
2-1 for Man City?
I want. Get that. I want.
Best?
Yes.
I reckon pause. And it's going to be 2-1 in favour of City.
I think
I think City's going to sneak it.
Right, there is some business in another game. Juventus faced Lyon in the first leg of their Champions League last 16 tie, having regained their top spot at the top of Serie A. Despite going unbeaten in their last 2 matches, Lyon head into the contest with the Italian Giants sitting in 7th position in League One. But I think this could be the underdog game of the night. I think all attention will be at the Santiago Bernabeu.
Yeah, I actually think that for this round, this is going to be the least watched match.
Certainly in terms of
okay,
TV
I'm going to watch that game then.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, boss. You'll be one of 2. You and possibly Cristiano Ronaldo's girlfriend will be the 2 people watching the game tonight. But we've got to go. We'll catch you tomorrow.
Sit next to each other.
Pause. Hey, I can see you. I see what you're doing.
We see you.
May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manande, out.